I'm Ryan Hughes, and we're out here with Ride Engineering out at Glen Helen. We got a stock RM-Z450 Suzuki, and we want to see, well, what does a pro do, or what does somebody that has a lot of racing experience do to their bike, and where do they start from? You know, I've ran one bar bend for about 20 years on all different brands, so first thing I do is I switch to Renthal 997s. So I put my bars on, so then at least I feel comfortable, make my adjustments with my brake and all this different things like that. You know, if you like a hump seat, maybe put that in there. You know, just so when you're sitting on the bike, you go, okay, this feels comfortable. I feel like I can go ride right now. All right, well, just got done riding it again, and after changing suspension, factory connection, did the front forks and the rear shock. So what I wanted was a little bit stiffer in the finish of the stroke on the forks, a little bit plusher in the beginning, and the shock to be a little bit more consistent, tracking in kind of the happy part of the stroke up top and not be too soft down in the hard part of the stroke where everything feels so harsh, and it kind of, you get a lot of side-to-side action because it's packing, where most people want to go, oh, it's hard because I'm feeling this, but normally everybody's running their suspension a little bit too soft and it's just hanging down in that hard part of the stroke. So with that, we've changed that, and that made a big improvement. Now what we're going to do is change the clamps. All right, well, now we just got done with test number 3. Test number 3, we put the new clamps on here, the Ride Engineering clamps, and then also, I don't know if you can see in here, but we moved the ignition over to the side and put a steering stabilizer on it. So one, the clamps made me put a little bit more weight on that front end. I was getting a little bit of head shake with the standard clamps. Put these on, put a little bit more weight on there, so I'd get a little bit more bite, a little bit more feel at that front end, so then I could be aggressive when I'm turning it and not have to wait for the bike to turn. The other thing is we put that steering stabilizer on it, so now I can really relax my arms, and that's the biggest thing when riding a motorcycle, is having loose arms. When your arms are tight, you're going to exaggerate everything the bike does. So this steering stabilizer helps the bike be a lot more consistent, and you know, it doesn't feel like the bars are going to rip out of your hands or the front end's going to tuck too much, because now you have some dampening to it going left and right, so I can loosen up my arms and I can flow around the track a lot easier. So that was a really good change. Test 4, getting a little tired here. Test 4 was the link, and man, what a difference. I was having a little problem with the back end being a little bit harsh in the beginning and then blowing through in the middle and then kind of hanging down there and going side to side, a little bit wallowy effect. So put the link on, and it really helped the whole feeling of the shock, made it very progressive, very linear and consistent through the whole thing. So the beginning was nice and plush, but then through from the beginning to the end was very consistent. It didn't blow through or didn't have any harsh parts in it, so that really helped me at Glen Helen. If you've been here, you know how sketchy it is, you know, coming across these bumps, these hard pack, and then you got some mud, and then they turn the water on, whatever it is. So you're always kind of fighting the bike, and that made me feel a lot more comfortable, loosen up out there, and allowed me to be a little bit more aggressive also with it, because I trusted what it was going to do. Okay, the last test was the front brake, the caliper and rotor. So that was definitely a much better feel for me. I had much more progression with it, had a stronger stopping power, everything. So even at Glen Helen, when I'm turning and then the dirt got a little bit polished, it didn't just lock up the front wheel when I'm braking hard, and I'm a late braker, so I like a lot more power in my front end. This would be very good for fast desert races, GNCC races, where you got to be tight in between things and be on the brake, off the brake, on the brake, off the brake, and you'll have a lot more progression there and stopping power without it locking up the bike and getting you kind of a stop and go situation. So it was a good test and good feedback with the rotor and caliper. Hopefully we've given you some great tips and some good roads to go down, and other than that, good luck, be safe, and hope to see you at the track. Myself, Ride Engineering, Dr. D, Factory Connection, Renthal, we're all working together to make this bike Very good race bike.